How you doing, everyone? Welcome back to another vanilla Minecraft Let's Play. This is episode 125. Yes, season 3. This is the final episode of season 3, guys. So, yeah, and don't fear. Season 4 is already underway. So that's a nice little heads up for you. And let me just go into game mode 3. Yeah, so season 4 is already underway. Just trying to plan how I'm going to structure it. It's pretty much going to follow suit, so it's going to be 126. It's just a different map. So once it's a different map, we go to a new season. So that's all good and dandy. So let's follow this. I'm pretty sure the shop is this way. So I'm going to show you the shop system that we had quite late on into the game. These are generated by dungeons, but they never worked. And I think this is actually Raven's first house. Yeah, it is. This is Raven's house. She's got like a nice little cliff here that she dug into. I'm not really sure where the shop is. I'm pretty sure maybe I know it was near the train track. I know that much. Or is it this way? I'm just taking a stab in the dark here now. So yeah, towards the end of the game we had plugins. We were debating about going public, but we never did. Oh, I roughly know where I am. This was Azamerk 180's house and Liam's elite kid, I think his name was. I think he changed it. Okay, so this is where the shop is. Right near a jungle biome. Another dungeon. So it all started with these dungeons. These dungeons gave as loot in the loot chests and stuff like that. The loot tables were like mob eggs. You could get mob eggs. We added mob heads as well as a way of getting currency. So because it was such a rare item, we could trade them in and get in-game currency, which we called bits. So we just basically edited gold nuggets, ingots and blocks and gave them an enchantment of 100. So fortune 100 or whatever. There's no chance in the world anyone could fake that in the game. So with fortune 100 on a nugget, no one's ever going to do that, and no one ever can accomplish that. So that made like the currency a thing. So if we go into here, and let's go to game mode 1 a second, go into game mode 0, sorry. So as you can see, it's got a fortune enchantment of 100. So you could never fake this. You could never go to the gold farm and get your bits. This is the lowest form of currency. This is the medium form of currency, and this was the highest form of currency. So some of the items that are overpowered in the game, like late game, cost a lot of these, and I mean like 64 and 64 and stuff like that. So this is how you exchange. This was going to be a bank. I was going to make it as like this was possible through a outside program. So we could just get a villager and change his name and change what he sells. It's a good idea, but it had to be done because I was originally going to. I'm going to go game mode 1. I was originally making a redstone bank here originally, and then I was going to originally sort of like make ATMs and stuff here, but I'm not really sure. I can't remember now. But this guy was the exchange guy, so that you could, if you got bits which you can get, you can trade in for stuff. You can trade multiples to get your megabits, which is cool. So this is the actual shop, which never got finished. Possible I might edit it back into season 4, but I'm not at that stage yet. Season 4 is very early game. We're not bored of it because we've got the update Aquatic. So this sort of stuff won't come till proper later, when we've literally exhausted the game, got really rich in resources and stuff like that. But same kind of deal, but with different stuff. So he wants bits for Podzol, which is fairly cheap. The hardest is to get the megabits and the ultra bits. As you see, blocks weren't too bad. This was the booksmith, so you could get every highest enchantment book possible from vanilla. Mending, and like mending was like 64 bits, and then you got like lure 3, which is 16. So I tried varying it in price. Redstone stuff, very, very cheap. Not too expensive, but just in case you needed it. And super duper cheap should be all things nature. There you go, just in case you want stacks of it or whatever. So this was like the buying section. Orange meant buy, green means sell. So you could go in here, and these were the heads from we had it so there's a, like Hermitcraft, there's a rare chance that heads will drop. So you could find bat heads. Bat heads were actually quite rare. But the further I got into this, I found that these heads were a little bit too cheap. Any heads that were like possible farms, like Enderman heads, I made them pretty cheap anyway. Made sure that they were, or not at all. So as you see, you can trade the heads in for money. All sorts of heads. And then we go on to floor 2, which was a work in progress. We're going to have loads over here. We're going to have, oh yeah, got some over there. And there was this was the selling part, which I never got round to finishing. This was quite late game, late map. So you got the garbage guy. So everyone gets a ton of cobble. So you could just trade in some cobble for 2 bits, which is quite cheap. You don't get a lot for what you're giving him. The egg collector, so you could sell him chicken eggs for 1 bit, which is quite cheap. And then you can trade in your eggs that you find from the dungeons that were added later on for megabits. They're quite rare to find, but at the same time they're rewarding. Like an Elder Guardian, you'll get 16 ultra bits. So the rarer the mob, the more you would get. Enderman, egg, not easy to get, to be honest. I think there was a rare chance that they drop eggs. I can't remember. Like a super duper rare chance. We got like, you get the idea. And then we had the concrete guy, because concrete is a pain to make. Why not pay it? I mean, 64 concrete for 4 megabits. That's quite expensive, and that's not. So the idea is to keep it balanced through expense, I guess. So if you got the dollar, you can pay for it. These are not too bad. They're quite cheap. Quite expensive. Cool banging tunes. Love it. And then up here we got like the real rare stuff, the proper expensive stuff. So you could literally buy ores from the miner. So, you know, coal was pretty cheap, iron a little bit more expensive, and then you got gold, which was a little bit more expensive again, and then even more expensive for 8 diamonds, and so on and so forth. Then you had the Beastmaster. So if you had a lot of money, 32 ultra bits to get a mob spawner is expensive. That will take you quite a while to grind that. So it looks cheap, but it's actually not. You can buy the eggs, any egg of your choice. What ones are there? What's that? Evoker. So you could get an Evoker one, but that's 64 ultra bits. That is expensive. That is proper expensive, because Evokers, I think, drop maybe Totem of Undyings, or maybe I can't remember which one they are, but it's either tokens of undying or just emeralds, which is why we didn't use emeralds as currency. And then you got guardians, which give you 16. You know what I mean? So it's there. I mean, if you got a guardian farm, there's a chance that they could drop eggs, I guess. So that was a bit overpowered, maybe. Rare loot, you could go and buy, say, elytras with 16 ultra bits. Once again, that's not cheap. Beacons were a little bit cheaper because beacons, you know, not that overpowered. I think elytras are more overpowered, so they have to be more expensive. Mob heads, crystals, eggs. These were quite cheap in comparison, but you know, that gives everyone a fighting chance to have one. Sponges, totem of undyings, and then this is just regular. I couldn't get rid of this. This is just normal vanilla trades there. I don't know why. Then we had the Master Weaponsmith. Now, what makes him different is we upped the ante with some of the weapons. So, for example, you got two stacks of ultra bits here, which will take you forever to get, and you get this. You get mending, unbreaking, 32,776. Basically, the durability is gonna last forever. So it's literally an unbreakable pickaxe. Efficiency 8 and fortune 8. So that's super duper fast and super duper rewarding when you get to diamonds. So that's the kind of stuff that he had. We had a silk touch version. We had a mending, smite 10, unbreaking once again, like really ridiculously high, looting 8, sharpness 10, bane of arthropods 10. You name it. So these were like proper. Oh, we got the bow as well. There you go, looting 6. They weren't as high. Power 10, infinity, and mending. Infinity and mending on the same bow, which is impossible to get vanilla wise. But they were super duper expensive, guys. I'm not gonna lie to you. They were super duper expensive, and that's what kept it feeling a little bit balanced. So these weren't really used. These shops weren't really used that much, which makes me a little bit apprehensive about bringing them into a fourth season. But they were there nonetheless. I might even find another way. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, we got plans. We got plans for the whole shebang, I guess. But yeah, guys, hopefully you enjoyed this episode. Season 4 has already started. Just to let you know, I think I mentioned this to begin with. We're going to start vanilla and we're going to start whitelisted to begin with. Eventually, when the plugins catch up, we are going to add plugins for the simple fact that we want to open the server to the public. But we're going to try for at least in the foreseeable future. We're actually going to keep it so that we're going to keep it as vanilla as possible. We're going to add probably quality of life plugins like Tree Capitator, that sort of stuff, but nothing too drastic. If we're going to add stuff, we are going to add things like probably dungeons and stuff, but oh, I'm so tired. I'm not really that sure. So yeah, it's all up in the air at the moment. We're just going to focus on playing it vanilla, purely vanilla for the short term. When plugins come, we're going to still have vanilla. But yeah, eventually we will probably shake it up a bit and change it a bit. But yeah, but for now we're definitely doing it vanilla, which is cool. And yeah, we're not going to have anything too overpowered like bringing MCMMO and stuff like that. We're not going to have all that sort of jazz. We're going to keep it as vanilla as we can. But guys, thanks for watching. Hopefully you've enjoyed this season. It's been episode 125. Season 4 is right around the corner, believe it or not. It's already started. I just need to figure out how I want to structure it a little bit in the way it's going to be, and I mean like content wise, but apart from that, it's already on the go. So guys, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this season. I'll see you in season 4. Take it easy.